When we shop, we look at price tags, weighing cost against quality to make our decisions. So where's the price tag on a public school education? What are we getting for our money? In many cases, it seems school districts don't want you to see the real price tag.
Parents and taxpayers have a right to know what public schools cost them and what kind of value they're getting for that money. Unfortunately, most school districts do their best to hide that information.
Here's what various school districts said they spent per pupil in 2009.
As high as these numbers are, they're still extremely misleading. School districts often leave out major expenses like capital costs for new buildings, health and retirement benefits for their own employees, their own debt payments. All of these are K through 12 education expenses paid with taxpayer dollars. There's no good reason to exclude them.
Private schools tell parents how much they'll have to pay for a child's education. Public schools should do the same for taxpayers.
In order to get the true cost of an education, you need to add in all the expenses school districts typically leave out.
Houston School District offers a pretty straightforward example of how districts obscure school spending from parents and taxpayers.
Houston's stated per pupil spending comes from the general fund alone. That excludes 16 other education funds, from debt service payments and capital expenses to health insurance and athletics. When we add that spending back in, per pupil spending is $12,500. That's 50% more than the district claims. We've also looked at the District of Columbia, where spending is anything but straightforward. DC doesn't even publish a per pupil spending figure. It took dozens of phone calls and emails over the course of a month to get an official figure. They say they spend about $17,500. All capital expenditures are excluded from that figure, as if children don't need classrooms and buildings to learn it. When you add that, along with all the other education items, back into the budget, you get $28,000 per student. That's 61% more than the district claims to spend.
$28,000 would provide D.C. parents with the means to send their kids to some of the best private schools in the district.
This kind of dishonest accounting is a nationwide problem. Rich districts, poor districts, north, south, east, and west. In every single one of the 18 districts we looked at, we found discrepancies. In most, it was a huge gap.
In Los Angeles, schools spend 2.5 times what they advertise.
Think about what this means. Prices are supposed to steer resources in the economy, and yet taxpayers and parents have a very difficult time discovering the most basic fact about public education: the cost. It's impossible to have an honest debate about education policy if the public schools can't be straightforward about their spending.